interrupt this transmission to bring you the following live broadcast.
How's everyone doing tonight? Woo! It's Wednesday. It's 6 o'clock somewhere. With
John
Reggie in his chair. And almost 10 whole people watching from home. Are you ready? I said, are you ready? It's time for the ThinkSoJoE Show!
This is not John in John's chair today. This is Mike from the band Reggie Childs, who are about to celebrate their 10-year anniversary. 10 years.
Yeah.
10 is the same lineup from 10 years ago, or has it changed over the years?
Actually, it's 10 years since I've been in the group, but they've actually been a band even longer than that. But yeah, 10 years, the same guys.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been the same four guys for the last 10 years. Yeah, that's actually one of the. I'm kind of amazed, honestly, that we have had the same group. That's what we're so grateful for, really, is to have the same guys and really comfortable with each other and all that. So yeah, we're excited to celebrate this weekend.
That's why it was the first question, is because, like, Living Braindead's got a 5th anniversary show coming up in August, and I'm the only one that was on that first show back in August 2019, so it's definitely hard to keep, you know, it's a 3-piece, right? You guys are 3-piece?
Well, yeah, no, actually we have 4.
4?
We have a
Okay.
trumpet player, too, who's been in the band actually before me as well, so really we are a 4-piece. But,
Okay.
yeah, I know what you mean.
I did no research for this show, if anybody's wondering.
We did play out as a 3-piece originally, actually. Like I said, Kyle, our trumpet player, was in the band before I joined, and then when I joined, like I said, 10 years ago, he wasn't with us at that point, but he's been with us for, I think, like 8 years since then. But like we consider him he's been in the band the whole time,
Sure.
pretty much. He wasn't playing out with us right when I first joined, but yeah, he's been like ever since, like I said, about 8 years or something like that. He's been going with us, and yeah, I mean, I don't take it lightly. It's really cool. Like you said, it's pretty rare, I think, that you have the same group of guys for as long as we've been doing it. And like I said, I'm just really grateful that we all genuinely enjoy each other's company and stuff still. Like, that's kind of cool. It's not like we have to force it. If anything, it's the opposite, where we're like, why? Or we even, I don't know, myself, like, just in life, I'm like, maybe I should do other stuff because I'm like busy with other things, but I'm like, I just keep getting drawn back to it, you know? It's like, and it's just because of the guys, actually. That's the coolest part, you know, and the music. We all enjoy the music, but, you know, we enjoy each other for sure, too. I don't think it would work without, if any one of us, like, wasn't in the band, I think we wouldn't be a band anymore, you know what I'm saying?
So is it one of those things where, like, you guys will annoy each other and get on each other's nerves, but you like understand and you compromise and you work shit out? Or is it just like all good times?
It's kind of like, well, of course we do get on each other's nerves, but we're also really respectful of each other, and we have like honest conversations with each other and stuff, which I think helps, so that when we do disagree with stuff, we know it's coming from like a good place, right? Like, you know, if we disagree about something, everybody in the band knows that it doesn't mean that we think you're like a jerk or something like that. It's like, no, we disagree about this, but it's like everybody knows that we all care about each other, I guess, as cheesy as that sounds. So it's like it works. Whereas I think there's if you don't have that trust with each other, you know, and someone says something that like gets on someone's nerves, it could like break up the band, because you're like, you know, or you already had negative thoughts about each other, and then like some comment could like, you know, spark it where you're like, that's it, I'm done. Like,
I think that's
that.
the secret right there of keeping the same band members, is everybody, like, even if you get on each other's nerves, you realize you're getting on each other's nerves, you apologize, you compromise, you talk it out, right? So, I mean, that's...
And even just being, like, okay with, like, from the start being like, that's gonna happen, you know? Not being, you know, or you could just be the type to... You know, there are some times where you just bite your lip, you just don't say something because you're like, you know, you don't have to. We do generally get along actually really well as it is, but also just accepting that, like, there are going to be times where you know, get on each other's nerves and stuff.
Sure.
instead of being like, it's gonna be perfect. And then, because if you have that expectation,
I think in any
it's not gonna
relationship,
go so
it's,
good.
you know, band or otherwise, it's,
Sure.
you know, you have to expect people to have bad days.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to, you know, when you're in that closeness, you kind of, you know, will take it out on each other sometimes. But as long as you realize you're doing it, you apologize. And,
Right.
You know, I think that's, you know, that's kind of the relationship, you know, Braindead has too. And, you know, that's the way any relationship should work is, you know, realize when you're being a dick.
Yeah, that too. No, I agree though. I think you're right. It actually does like apply to relationships that you have in your life and stuff too, is like not having you know, too high of an I don't know, not having too high of an expectation. And it just being okay with being like vulnerable and saying how you feel.
Absolutely.
But like I said, that the biggest part is like you can say how you feel, but everybody knows that we all like to be together, we like to be a band, so it makes it easier to have harder conversations as opposed to like if everyone is just always purposefully nice all the time, then it's like and like not saying how they feel, then it's more likely that you're gonna have like a big fight or something. We've actually never had a big, like I can't even remember one time that we had like a massive fight or something. I mean, we've disagreed about stuff, but
Yeah,
obviously
absolutely.
we've been together for like 10 years, and if anything, like I said, there's like I just have 3 little kids and stuff, and the guys all have their own things going on, and there's a lot of reasons for us not to do it, but because we do genuinely like being together, it works out great. And those guys are really
I will
close,
say
too.
that the lineup changes in Braindead had nothing to do with arguments or anything like that. Just people moved
Well,
on.
that's what I mean. Yeah, like it's just because people are busy or whatever, they're going in different directions and
Right.
stuff. For some reason, there's been a glue. I can't even explain what that is, but something that like has brought us always back together to like start making music. And the music is the main thing. We just, whenever we play, we seem to enjoy it, even if it's in the basement, right? Even if we're just practicing, we tend to like just enjoy it. Like, you know, it's not euphorically amazing or anything, but we're just like, wow, we almost like surprise ourselves, you know, because we'll go like months without playing at times if we're busy, and we'll get together and you'll even like be like, wow, it still feels good to play. And they're like, yeah, it does. Like we almost, it actually kind of surprises me at least sometimes that I still like
I think
playing the songs and stuff. Or we always have like new stuff too. I feel like that's important. Like we still love the old songs, but we always have like something exciting that's like new that keeps us interested, if that makes sense. Like always kind of writing too, and also playing all the stuff that we've been playing for years. So it all still feels good. Even when we play songs that are 10 years old, it's like, wow, it still feels good to play. And we're not that popular, so like people that see us don't know that the song is 10 years old, and they seem to still get off on it too. But I think they can tell that we are still getting off on it, which I think is, you know, I think people in the crowd can tell that for sure.
I always say, like, the bands that I really like to see are the bands that look like they're having fun.
Right.
If I go see a band and they're just miserable and they're going through the motion, kill, switch, engage. You know,
Is that right? I'm surprised to hear that.
when I saw them, it was the last night of their tour, so I think they just wanted to go
Sure,
home.
they might have been tired.
Like it was in Rochester, and it was with Anthrax.
Gotcha.
And like Anthrax was like, yes, this is fucking awesome. We get to play, because I think it's like Joey Belladonna's hometown or something like that. So they're like, yeah, we get to play our hometown. And like Killswitch, it was like only the one guitar player was like, hey, I'm happy to be here. Everybody else is just like going through the motions, playing the songs. Let's go home.
Gotcha.
But when I see bands that are having a good time on stage, I'm having a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
That energy is infectious, you know. There's really something to be said about that.
Yeah.
If the band is up there and they look miserable, I want to go home. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not having a good time.
Definitely. I mean, we're not a, you know, we're not a touring band or anything.
Sure.
We only play out like once a month or something. So we do we genuinely like to be together when we are, because we know we're not together all the time. I can't speak. Being in a touring band, like you said, last show of the tour might be tough.
Right.
Like they're in a different
Sure.
headspace. They've been grinding for months or whatever it might have been.
Sure, that's one of those things where, like, I will give them the benefit of the doubt that they were, you know, tired and wanted to go home. But, like,
But that's
you know.
tough. You should try to. But yeah, I've seen too though. Sometimes bands might be like off the wall and like look excited, but you can almost tell if it's not
Sure.
genuine. I guess.
Right.
So we talk about that a lot as a band too. Like I said, we just genuinely like to hang out, like to make music and stuff. And I do think that kind of comes across when we play live too, because we just like to, we definitely like playing live. I mean, I consider us kind of like a live band. We've only recorded two EPs, a 6-song and a 5-song EP, which we're probably gonna actually play both of those back to back at our show.
Okay.
This weekend at Tudor, and kind of like to celebrate the 10 years, like play the two EPs we have out, and then also play a bunch of new stuff that we don't have recorded. Because like I said, we're mostly like a live band, I guess. We don't go in the studio much, and if we do, it's usually in our basement. Really, like, you know, never in a professional studio, really. That's something we should do.
It's cheaper to do it in
Now
your
that
basement,
I'm
trust
talking
me.
about it, I know. We sent it to a professional studio, but we recorded it in the basement.
That's when we released our last single with literally me and my drummer in a whole different lineup than what we got now. We recorded it in his basement, my drummer's basement, and we sent it over to Jay from On the Cinder,
Okay.
who has his own studio, and we sent it to him to mix.
Yeah.
And to mix and master, and he gave us a discount because we're friends, you know.
Right.
And I think like the whole thing cost us like $40. Now we're going to actually we're still going to some dude's house to record.
Yeah.
But the dude works for GCR, and he's like, it's costing us, I think, like $1,400 to record this album that we're working on, and so it's much cheaper to do. That was one of the big fights that Brain Dead has had, is like, no, I want to do this in the basement and just send it to Jay, and he'll mix it for us for this much, and but I ended up just it's one of those things like, if that's what you guys want to do, I'm gonna stop arguing with you because I don't want to argue. I'm in this to have fun.
Right.
If you guys want to spend that kind of money, yeah, fine, let's do it.
Gotcha. That's something that we definitely, I kind of did. I wouldn't even say disagree, but I'm actually the one that's always like, I'm just intrigued to know what it would sound like. So I'm like, yeah, I'd really like to go into like to GCR basically, and like record even like one song. I haven't really even said this to the band, so they're probably like, what is he talking about? I'd like to record one song just to compare. But I was happy. It's pretty amazing if you record it in the basement and then send it to GCR. They can really doctor it. Like, they can make it really sound very full, basically, with some raw tracks. I mean, the EP we made was really raw. I mean, I recorded the guitar and vocals, like, by myself. That's when, I guess that's something I was like, I really should have recorded that with, like, a professional, though. To tell me, like, you could have done that a little better. I was more like, just by myself recording those, and like we recorded it with, we played it as a band, got the bass and drum tracks through like a live situation, and then we recorded the guitar and vocals and trumpet like after, basically. So we had that, bass and drum track down, but I didn't have anyone holding me accountable to be like, you could do that a lot better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. And the equipment was average at best too. But I was pretty happy with how it came out, honestly. It was, like I said, what the guys did at the professional studio with the raw tracks we gave them was really great. When I got it back, I was pretty surprised, actually, by what they could do.
I will say I heard some rough mixes of what we've been doing in the studio, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, it wouldn't have sounded like that. Like, if we recorded in, in our practice spot and sent it over to Jay and had him make, like, it wouldn't have, because, like, I see some of the stuff he's doing, it's like, oh, that's actually pretty interesting how he did that. Like,
right.
It's not, how I would have even, like, it's nothing I would have thought of. So that's the thing about working with a producer is, you definitely get some value out of the money you're spending. It's as opposed to just
definitely.
I recorded these tracks in my basement and I sent the stems over to my buddy. Like,
right. I think too, it's a little scary to go in there, and it's easier for us. Like, we don't. That's one of, we like to be in our comfort zone and stuff, and it is a little scary to think about going into a studio where you have to pay a lot of money and you have to like perform there's a little bit of pressure to perform, because if you're not able to get the track down, then you're gonna be like, oh, and then everyone might. Although I don't think that would be a problem with us if we actually did it, but I think, like, in the back of our minds, we don't even want to we don't want to get into a fight maybe, so we're like,
Sure.
oh, it's kind of scary, the thought of like if one of us can't do which I wouldn't happen though. I don't think, but
I mean, you guys have been playing these songs for a while. I mean, even
Yeah,
like
definitely the
even
older
like the
stuff.
newer ones, you're gonna go in, you're gonna know your parts, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
like I don't think anybody in your band or my band would go in unprepared, like.
no.
But there was definitely a song in our recording sessions where I kept fucking it up. I was like, let me do this again next time because I'm not getting it today.
Yeah.
And had to come back and do. I nailed it the next time, but it
Right.
was it's definitely a different process than you're recording it live in the room and then you're just going back and retracking stuff like. It's the same process. It's just somebody else is doing it and is able to be like, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Which is, when I was in my last band and we were going in and we were recording stuff, I went along with the changes and they were, I will say they were better. But 26 years old me is like, no, I wrote it this way for a reason.
Right.
And I want to do it this way, and this is the only way it should be done, and I don't want to listen to the guy telling me what to do. Now,
Right.
in my 40s, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. You think
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah.
You think that would work better? All right, cool. Let's try that.
Yeah,
I'm more open to suggestion now. I think so. When you get older, and you go and do it, some of these guys have great ideas, and they make the songs so much better, and you're so attached to the songs, you don't think about it.
Yeah. It kind of goes sort of what we were saying earlier too, just believing that people have the right interests in mind too.
Sure.
Like if you're working with someone that is just saying what they think is best. Not that they, we're even more like that when we're writing and practicing. We've been having more of an open attitude of like, try whatever you want to try, especially in the practice space. Like if you make a mistake, no one's going to look at you in the band and be like, how could you have done that? You know what I mean? Like how could you have hit the wrong note or done anything wrong? Like we don't do that stuff. And it like you said, it being more open, I think allows you to be more creative. Even if you're talking to someone like you're talking about recording, it's somebody who's not in the band telling you stuff, which is maybe harder to take than members of the band. But I do think having that open mind is like you said, a sign of maturity, and I think you can become a better player, better writer, and all that stuff if you can receive that information without being like super offended by it. Because if you're offended,
I don't even know if it's worse if it's somebody out of the band. I think it's worse if it's somebody in the band, because then you're just like, why the fuck are you telling me what to do, right?
Right. Yeah, that's true. Well, it's got to be like try this, not do this. It's like if I ever say anything, it's like I have a thought. Why don't we try it?
Yes.
If anyone in the band is like, I have a thought, let's try it. We just try it. We do it like, all right, let's count it off. Let's try it the way this guy said. And if
that is a key to a good relationship is the language you use for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially like in a band where it's like you're all trying to get your creative stuff out, and somebody else is like has a different vision, and they're like, do this as opposed to try this is a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
And even just people can. We've just been a band for so long, so we are really good at this. Like my drummer Mike always says, we're really good at being a band, and I think this is what he's basically talking about. Is like we're good at just communicating, and everyone knows that when we say things to each other about like writing or whatever, it's like there's no, I don't know, you can feel it. Like there's not like that condescending tone to it. It's just like, oh, I think I have an idea or whatever, and we're all like we just try that whatever. Whatever suggestions come up, and usually and thankfully we just naturally come to the same conclusions a lot. If we try stuff, we kind of know what feels right, and then we're like, all right, we'll go in that direction with whatever part it might be.
Sure.
And we always agree at that point. I guess if I'm spoiled, man. Like I haven't really been in a band where I had problems like about these things. Like we've been just like kicking it for so dang long, like and just. Getting good results too, with like at least how we feel good results about how the music sounds. But yeah, it's because of that kind of like communication and just understanding that you could make a suggestion and say it in a nice way, but people could feel that it's not nice. You know what I mean? Like, like I could tell he's pissed off or something, and like. And then it just sours the whole mood, and then no one can be creative though. If the practice space feels like that, it's like then it's like not good. Whereas we're trying to be like you be as creative as possible, especially like at practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At a show, you got to kind of like rein it in and do your part. But like at practice, especially if it's a new song or something, it's like just totally kind of try whatever comes to mind. It's also like I'm sorry, I'm babbling so much.
No, it's okay.
It's also important.
You got
to,
2 hours to film, man.
It's also good to be
as
able
much
to
as you want.
play your instrument well, so that you can be more creative. Like practicing it like by yourself a lot. Like just getting really good at like your craft, so that basically so your fingers can keep up with your head. Like if you have an idea, if you're practicing.
I just literally reached out to somebody yesterday who's a guitar teacher, and I said, hey man, I want to learn how to practice guitar. I know how to play guitar.
Right.
I don't know how to practice guitar, so I would like to take some lessons from you. So I'm waiting to get paid on this job that I did like 2 weeks ago, and I'm still bugging this guy for this money so I can, then give the money to this guy and be like, all right, dude, teach me how do I actually practice, because if I pick up a guitar right now, I'm gonna play a Metallica song or something. That's not practicing getting better at guitar. That's practicing getting better at that Metallica song.
Yeah. There's lots of different. That is a good way though to practice.
Yeah.
To mimic like a song, or to play a song, practice a song especially if you're playing along with the record and that helps you practice timing. I'd say, because like the record should be in perfect time.
But
so it's helpful.
I'm good with timing though. For me, it's like
Sure.
I need to learn how to be like more creative and more.
Yeah, that won't help.
It's not going to help to play somebody else's songs or just to play the same songs I'm already playing with my band.
Right.
So that's where I'm at right now, is trying to get.
That is hard too. I'll just say what I do, is I'll record like on a loop pedal. I'll record like a rhythm guitar track.
Yeah.
And I'll just make that up kind of on the spot. A lot of them are similar, but like I can kind of write a rhythm guitar part. Like, not that it's always going to be like amazing, but I'll write a rhythm guitar part and then I'll just solo over the top of it. I just have enough knowledge to know like what key the rhythm guitar part's in, and then I can just kind of fart around on.
See, that's what I'm trying to get better at, is what goes over because like I can I'm in a punk band. I play like 4 chords. Like I could come up with a riff. Like
right.
It's just what I want to get more. Now that we have a second guitar player, I want to see like, okay, what else can I do here? Mm-hmm. And he's doing the same. Like what else can he do? And that's kind of like gonna sound cool, but not like too like over the top,
Sure. No,
and actually be in key and all that. Like
it has to be reined in for sure.
But
that's what's cool about playing to a rhythm track, is you can just do whatever. You just have to know what key it's in, and then know what the scale is for that key, and just kind of do, if it's punk stuff, you could just do like octave kind of work and just see what come up with melodies basically over the top of it.
That's my trick, man. My trick is just do octaves.
Yeah, but you can still make a really cool melody. Yeah. Like, that's what I don't think it's about speed. I'm not a speed player, right? Like, I'm not going to shred fast. I don't play like Avenged Sevenfold or Metallica. Like, I don't shred quickly. Like, that's something that I practice, because I know I'm not, sorry about that. I'm not particularly good at playing super fast. Like, you're never going to see me play guitar solo and be like, wow, that was the biggest shred I've ever seen. I try to I'm more of an emotional player, I guess, where it's like, I just try to get a nice melody with a few notes and make it like feel something, as opposed to like shredding, like with just being really good at playing, if that makes any sense.
I mean, if you go and you listen to some of the biggest songs of all time, they're not like over the top, like complicated songs. If you're trying to be a songwriter, like it is one thing to be proficient at your instrument and be able to play that kind of stuff, but at the same time, like Taylor Swift, right? Is the biggest fucking artist on the planet right now.
Yeah.
She's doing 4-chord songs.
Absolutely, yeah. And the melodies are simple, but they're really good. I mean, I'm sorry if I have little kids. My daughter loves Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And I listen to a lot of Taylor Swift.
Dude, I got over here somewhere, I got her last album. Her new album comes out Friday, by the way.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Friday, the new album comes out. So but Saturday is record store day. So now I'm like, I don't want to go to the record store 2 days in a row. Okay. But the way that that Revolver works is you go in, you get your record store day stuff, and you go and cash out, and then you leave so other people can come in. So I'm kind of wondering, I'm going to probably call them tomorrow and just be like, yo, if I order the new Taylor Swift record and the No Doubt singles collection that I've been meaning to come out and buy.
Yeah.
If I order those on the website, can you have them at the counter for me when I cash out at Record Store Day? Like, because I got my Record Store Day list. I know what I want. They're missing a couple of the ones that I want, so I'm probably going to go there, get what I want, then walk over to Black Dots.
Gotcha.
Try and get what I want.
I love that you're buying the Taylor album, dude.
Oh, of course, man. So...
Oh, I like that.
So
you look like a bad. Like I appreciate that because you don't look like a Taylor Swift fan. No offense.
No. I pre-ordered Midnights. I didn't get into Taylor until like last year, or year before. I was talking to the girl who was a huge Swiftie, and you know, I listened. I actually heard Midnights before she did because she wasn't able to get it on Spotify, and I had it on YouTube Music. So I'm like, listen to the album right now. It's really good. She's like, I can't get to it.
Oh, nice.
But she got her vinyl before I did because I pre-ordered and mine didn't come in till the day after.
Gotcha.
So she went to Target and bought it.
I love that so much because it shows that you are just a genuine dude. And we were talking earlier, we don't actually know each other very well.
Right.
So, we just kind of met. Or well, we've met we've known each other around for years.
We were talking for the audience. We were talking before we came on the air. We were talking about how we never have really spoken. I booked you, Karina and I booked you on some shows.
Yeah,
and I've
sure.
seen you out. We played the same stage at
Music
is Art last year.
Yeah.
I've seen you around. We haven't really sat down and had a conversation. You were like, I wonder how that's going to affect this show. I'm like, dude, the best shows are when it's like we're getting to know each other here.
Yeah, that's cool.
And also, you've got shit to promote. You've got the band to promote, the 10 years. You've got 10 years of music to talk about, and of course, so it's actually going to be easier for us to fill 2 hours than like even with John actually being in his chair, having a conversation
man.
But
I know you're a genuine dude now, just because
I
you're
listen
like
to Taylor Swift.
Well, in a way, because you're just like, I just like it. Like that's what it is. Like whereas, I don't know. I think about this stuff sometimes. Like people might, I don't know, tend to do what they think they should do. Like you as a punk dude, which I am too. Like,
sure.
You'd think like, oh, I don't.
By the way,
I don't like popular
I think,
music, which I do like popular music. I'm like, I like
correct?
music.
Am I correct in my assessment that your bandmates were unavailable tonight because they're at me first in the Gimme Gimmes?
No, that's not right.
I'm surprised.
I know. I think it was just work.
Okay, yeah.
I know.
That'll do it.
Jobs, like it's ridiculous.
Oh, that'll do it, man.
I know.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, Kyle owns a liquor store.
Okay.
So he's doing his thing and he's there a lot. Noble Root, sorry, Kyle. I didn't think for a second. Go buy some liquor for him. And the other boys were, getting out right around this time. So, you know what? Dang it, they should have came though now. But it's all good.
It's all right.
Love you guys.
We'd have to fit them in here anyway, so
it would be kind of.
That was kind of like I thought the whole band was coming, and I told John I was like, dude, next week we got Reggie Childs. All three of them are going to be in the studio with us. And it's like he's like,
oh my gosh.
He was immediately like, I'm not coming. I'm like,
yeah,
dude, no, it'll be fine because we had like When Legions Fall as a 5-piece, and I had all of them in here, so.
Yeah, you've done it before. It's possible.
We can make it happen. If we need to make more room, we can make more room. It's not rocket science.
I think the boys also just I don't know. They just felt comfortable with me coming out and
sure.
And maybe I don't know. If there's like the whole band in there, then it's like everyone's just yelling over each other and stuff.
Absolutely.
And it can be even less productive in that.
Yeah,
way.
For sure.
I would love them to be here. I love being around them all the time. But
usually the chat's more active, so the chat's asking every individual member specific questions. But so far, the only chat we've got is from Mark saying hey to you. So that was.
Oh yeah, what's up, Mark? Right on.
But that was what time was
Mark's
that?
a good dude too. I like
6:01. He said that, so that was 25 minutes ago, 28 minutes ago.
Yeah, we've been chatting for a little while.
Yeah. We're going to get into a song break in just a second here. Let me actually get the right browser window up. We're going to start. So, like I said, we're gonna promote shows that are on the same day as your show, but we're going to play yours last because recency bias.
That's all right.
But we usually don't do that. But it's 4:20, so everybody's playing except for Brain Dead. We're not playing until next month. So, but 4:20 at Mr. Good Bar, which is 1110 Elmwood Avenue in Buffalo. Right down the street from Revolver Records, where, I could probably, I was going to say I could probably go to that show, but it's the night of Record Store Day, so that wouldn't work out. Anyway, 420 with Skamagotchi days ago and Part-Time Genius. Come celebrate your favorite holiday with 3 homegrown Buffalo ska bands. $10 pre-sale, $12 at the door. Doors at 8 p.m. Music starts at 9 p.m., 21 and up. So somebody knew how to make an event page. I appreciate that all the time. Reach out to any of the bands to purchase tickets in advance or just show up the door, pay the $12 and see some great bands. We're going to play some Skamagotchi right now. And this song is called Friends on All WNY. ThinkSoJoE Show.
It's hard to think about the friends I'm gonna lose as the faces start to fade the way they always do. It's hard to say it now, but I was always wrong. Yeah, someday I will miss you when you're gone. I'd like to think the person I pretend to be is the same one shit-faced posted at the bar. And I'll probably never know what people see in me, but I'm right here hoping someday I could start. Friends might stay, but not for long. Friends might stay, but not for long. I'm still fighting, I'm still strong. I'm still fighting, I'm still strong. Friends might stay, but not for long. I miss you when you're gone. I'm alone, but I'm still strong. I'll stay fighting, I'll stay strong. On Saturday we drank away the afternoon. I wasted words I said and made a fool of you by pointing out the quiet things that no one knows, like what you said you're gonna do and how you're nowhere close. Friends might stay, but not for long. Friends might stay, but not for long. I'm still fighting, I'm still strong. I'm still fighting, I'm still strong. Friends might stay, but not for long. I miss you when you're gone. I'm alone, but I'm still strong. I'll stay fighting, I'll stay strong.
That was Skamagotchi on All WNY ThinkSoJoE Show. We're here with Mike from Reggie Childs.
Hello.
Part of the ska revolution in Buffalo here.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Skamagotchi there. When we used to book you back, it had to be like 6-7 years ago.
I think that's right.
I think we booked you on like Ska Saves Christmas or something like that,
I
right?
do remember that show.
It
That
was
was
you
a lot of
guys.
fun.
It was Toy Box Brigade,
Love those guys.
and I can't remember who else, but it was interesting because like the only one of those bands that like survived past that was you guys.
Yeah.
Toy Box Brigade was great, but
Yeah.
life got in the way, unfortunately, and
Right.
they weren't able to do it. But now there's this kind of ska revival going on
Yeah.
here. We've got Skamagotchi is around, and there's the Buffalo Ska Fest coming up that's put on by Riot Squad Promotions, and who are amazing, by the way, and amazing to play for and amazing to work with.
Cool. I'll have to reach out to them because I don't think they know we exist.
I don't think so. But I've definitely been to shows that
we've
you've
talked
been on.
about this a lot though, where like
Yeah.
we don't feel like we're ska enough for the ska kids or punk enough for the punk kids because we I don't know, we don't know.
You're
We're
in
just-
limbo in between.
We kind
right?
of
Yeah.
are. But we don't make ska music because we are like. like the first thought when we make music isn't like we have to make ska music. We just make whatever music we make. It happens to be that music, if that makes sense. So we kind of, I mean, we're not like, we actually call it Disney ska because because we're cheesy. Like it is like cheesy poppy stuff, but we don't hide from it. We're just like, that's just what we make though. Like I can't make music for like a genre. You know what I mean? Like I just make the music that I make, and it's like whatever it is what it is.
Whatever comes out of your fingertips through the amp, you know, that's
like what we do.
Like
we do like ska music. We like punk music.
Like we call ourselves punk. There's definitely a little bit of ska in at least one song.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's some thrash and some other stuff, and just you know, kind of all over the place. And
I mean, we use the upstroking guitar with like the reggae style, or ska with being like a little faster, like double the time of like reggae sort of thing. But we do use that style of guitar playing, and the way it swings is ska-ish. But yeah, we never really, I don't know if I'm gonna make anybody mad, but we never really felt like people like this. I don't know. Like you said, there's a ska revolution or something. But yeah, we were always kind of like. There was only like one other ska band when we were making our ska, and they didn't really like us so much. So, but yeah, I loved it. We actually played a show with Skamagotchi, and Days Ago we've known forever. Those guys are just great people. And Part-Time Genius, we played a show at Stamps, rest in peace, Stamps. It's tough, but that show with Skamagotchi and Part-Time Genius was with the Soap Girls.
Okay,
they were a trip, dude. Those girls were such a freaking riot.
I saw that flyer. I think it might have been on your page or Skamagotchi's page when I was setting up for the show here. And you know what? I'm pretty sure it was your page because you guys have a show coming up next week as well.
Yes. Wait. Yes, we have a show on 420
with Sick Boy Productions at Rock and Roll Heaven, probably. I assume.
The Rock and Roll Heaven show is actually going to be with Part-Time Genius in May 23rd. I think that's going to be.
Okay, let me see.
Maybe you saw a flyer for a different show. We are playing the next week.
Oh, you're right. It is. It's May 23rd. May 23rd.
Nice.
Okay, so that's next month, not next week. We're playing for him the Saturday prior.
Okay.
And I was. And the reason I found this show is he's playing, Mark Miller, MCMD, he's playing with Mega Ran.
Okay.
Next week. And, dude, I love Mega Ran. I'm like, I kind of want to go to this show.
Right.
And they're doing the show at Rock and Roll Heaven. But I've also been kind of at odds with Mark over the way he does his event pages. And you're looking at it right now. You can see
this is all happening in real time. I didn't even know this was this event. I knew the event was happening, but I did not see the Facebook event until just now. But I just spoke to Mark last week, and I actually really enjoyed talking to him because it was just refreshing. Man, it was refreshing to talk to Mark. I don't know how old he is. But I'm up there in age too. I'm 38. So like we were talking about, you know, we've come across a lot of the same people. And,
and that's the thing. Like I never really knew Mark.
So what's the deal with these pages though?
I never really knew Mark, but I know a lot of people who knew him. Last week we were talking about a show that he had booked. Because you know the way we do this show is we just go through all the event pages. I find bands that are playing that weekend. So I found a show that he had booked, and I saw that the only host listed on the event page is him, as you can see with your show coming up here.
Yeah.
And so when he booked us, it was you know, and he made the event page. It was shortly after that, and I said, dude, just make sure you put the bands and the venue as co-hosts. Because if I go to the Reggie Childs page right now and I go under events, I'm going to find the show this weekend, but I'm not going to find that show because he's the only host of the show.
Really?
So I was looking earlier because I knew he was playing.
We'll straighten this out.
Yeah,
we'll straighten this right out.
Because I talked to him about it, and he's like, I want to be the only one who can edit the page. I'm like, I get that, dude, but nobody's gonna edit the page on you. I'm suggesting this because, like, I went on Mega Ran's page trying to find the show that he's playing next week. It's not there. Gotcha. So I went on the MCMD page looking for the event. It's not there. I went on Mark's page. I had to scroll through 10 different events before I got to the MCMD, the Mega Ran show.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it would just be so much easier if like I wanted to see if this band was playing in my area and I click on events and it's there.
Yeah.
So I get where he's coming from, but you know, that's just my promoter brain saying, no, man, you got to do this so people can find it. So, you know, that is what it is for me. And just, you know, we're playing with Part-Time Genius like 2 weeks after the show we're playing for him. So
cool.
You know, so I'm like, you know, maybe we'll just promote that show more because I'm the promoter for that one. So.
Right. I like talking to Mark. I'm excited to do that show in May with Mark. And Part-Time Genius, Uncle Frank Says No is on it. I really liked Part-Time Genius when we saw them at what did I just say? Stamps. Yeah. I love that show. I thought their energy was really good and their songs were just really good. So I really look forward to hooking up with those guys again. Like you said, it's cool that there's a lot of bands making this type of music in the city. I don't really care, though, what type of music people make. It's just, if it is, like, genuine. I always
if it's a vibe, right?
Yeah,
it's like vibe, I think is what the kids would say, right?
Definitely had a vibe. Like, their trumpet player was, like, he had some tweak freaking, he was, like, you know, wow, like, loving what he was doing, man. Yeah. Was, like, yelling into the mic and then also, like, yelling his trumpet into the mic with, like, really good melodies. So they were cool, and you could tell they like, you could just really tell that they liked what they were doing. But like I said, I mean, it doesn't have to be. I don't know. Sure. We feel like we kind of fit in with a lot of different genres. Mark did say to us though, he's like, "You are a ska band, though." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's sure," but I'm just saying, like, we don't start the process of writing a song by being like, it has to be a ska song.
When we booked you, it was as a ska band.
Right, which he did, and that's fine. That's fair enough. It is. Well, I'll take it. Like we even, I think one of our stickers say like ska band in quotes. Because I feel like we have been kind of looked down upon sometimes by the scene, by people being like they don't know what to do with us almost.
Sure.
They're just like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't either. But this is what we do. I don't know. That's an exciting show coming up. We're actually playing after Tudor. We're playing Jackrabbit next week, which we're gonna announce now, I suppose.
I guess so. You just let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, we'll probably really push it though, like right after the Tudor show, because I really want to focus on the Tudor show, and then obviously we're only gonna have a week to promote that. But I'm pretty excited to play there. I have it in my mind as like a really popular, like, new happening spot. But I've never actually been there.
I went there last week and I saw Skyway and Tokyo Monsters play.
Sweet, on Wednesday?
On Wednesday last week, yeah.
You went like after this?
Yeah, I did.
Maybe we should go there after this tonight and frickin' party again. Don't they do that every Wednesday?
No, they do it. I think it's like once a month for those Alliance showcases.
Okay, all right. But I got yourself out of it. Hanging out with me, that is. You're like, dude, this is enough.
No.
I'm just kidding.
No, I actually, How
was that?
We actually had gotten offered to play that show, but we didn't want to because we had the show on Saturday over at the Evening Star in Niagara Falls.
Gotcha.
That we really wanted to push and wanted to, get people to. So, and also, like, other members of the band do have small children, so it's hard.
It's hard to play out multiple times a week.
Yeah. Hard to do multiple times a week, and so we had to pass. And I saw Sarah at the show last week. Sarah she's the programming director for Music is Art. She's also a really talented musician in her own right. I saw her at the show, and I said, so you couldn't get us, so you booked the only drummer that plays harder than ours. Like, plays louder than ours in Skyway. And it was a great time. I've seen that place way more full than that on a Saturday night, but, it is what it is.
It's tough on a weekday sometimes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's definitely been times where I've gone out after the show and gone to, like, Mohawk and been the only person in the building that wasn't in a band or working for the venue.
Right.
So... those and we just passed actually the anniversary of a show I booked on a Tuesday night because Good Bar insisted I booked a Tuesday night, and we had 3 people paid through the door, and just everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and one of those. And then when the guy reached out to me the next day, he's like, hey, how'd it go? I said, it went terrible. And I was like, part of it's because it was a Tuesday. And he said, I understand. So we're going to give you a Saturday night. We'll give you a shot on a Saturday night. And then I sold the fucking place on us. I didn't sell it out. But I mean, like, you know, there were a lot of fucking people there when I did the Saturday night. And just, you know. So there's definitely something to be said about, you know, weekdays versus weekends around Buffalo.
For sure. People are just more busy and stuff. But what's cool is, though, is that you don't know what's going to happen, man. Whenever you have a show like with that, well, I know it was the Soap Girls definitely brought in the people, but I'm sorry I keep going back to that one, but that was during the week. So my expectation of that show was actually really low. I was like, oh, all right, we'll go to Stamps, we'll rock. And I take that really seriously. Like, I got to rock the set. No doubt, no matter what the heck the situation is, I have 45 minutes or whatever, 2 hours or whatever. I'm going to do my part, which is like rock a good set. It's all I can control, is all I'm saying. And then, but like for that show was during the week, so I was like, it might not be that many people. I don't know who the Soap Girls are, whatever. They're from South Africa or some shit. It was so weird. But
that's the thing.
That turned out to be like the funnest night, dude.
I saw that flyer and I'm like, how did I miss this?
You just don't know what's gonna happen, man. Like, they were so cool, and like all the bands were so cool, and it was just the crowd was also great, and like had really good conversations that night, like with people that were in the crowd, and also with the girls in the band, and like I'm just saying, it's cool. You just never know what's gonna happen when you have a gig. You know, you don't know if it's gonna be like a rager or whatever. It's always fun though.
I saw that flyer on your page as I was, you know, researching the show, and I was like, I know who the Soap Girls are. I also know you guys, and I know Skamagotchi, and I'm like, how did I miss this? I would have gone to that.
That's something that I personally should take. Like, I don't promote enough, you know. I'm not good at that. I've gotten better. I think it's just because I don't like to be let down, dude, to be honest, to be like a real like softie right now. I'm like, I don't like to like put myself out there. So I'm like I said, the only thing I can control is like playing a good set. So I take that really seriously, and I practice a lot, and I try to like get my parts down and
I think that's like a fake it till you make it mentality, right? Like, you can be, it doesn't matter if there's one person in the bar, if there's 100 people in the bar, 200, 300, whatever. You're going to play that shit like it's Wembley Stadium sold out, you know?
Yeah, I always go as hard as, I mean, I don't like jump around like a boat, like just purposefully, but whatever I'm feeling, I just try to give it everything I have, but like, I don't overly push people to come to gigs. I'm just kind of like, but now I'm getting better at dealing with that, where I'm just like inviting everybody, and if they can't come or they can come, I'm like, whatever. I don't judge them either way. You know what I mean? If they're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Which has been better. I'm just bringing that up because that's maybe why you didn't know, because I don't spend the time like inviting people personally to gigs a lot of the time. I kind of just like hope for the best in that way. I mean, I gotta get better at that,
you know, I know you guys, I know Skamagotchi, and I don't know who promoted that, but I'm sure I probably know the promoter too, so.
You definitely missed. It was Greg Burt.
Oh, then I don't know how I missed that. I have no idea, because
dude, it was a trip,
Greg promotes the shit out of everything, man.
Yeah, I like Greg a lot. He's another, like, you know, a genuine dude. I really like him, and
well,
that was a fun one, man.
I love Greg, and I love playing shows for Greg, but at the same time, like, I'm also like of the mindset of it's 2024, man. Why are you giving me physical tickets to sell? I don't want. I don't want, like, for Green Jello when we played with him and this show this past Saturday, he was like, "You guys want tickets?" Like, no, we don't. Yeah. And then, you know, and the way he runs the shows, we don't get paid because we didn't sell any tickets.
Right.
You know, it's like. It's fine. I understand that was the risk we're running by not physically selling tickets, but it's like, you literally have an event page with a ticket link. If somebody wants the tickets, I don't want to go interact with people. I like just go to the ticket link and buy the tickets.
Sure. No, I understand.
Or show up at the door, you know, like, and also like playing with Green Jello. It's like, that's going to sell itself.
Right.
I don't need to sell shit for that. People are going to come anyway.
Well, that's where, you got to just have the mindset of, like, you're going to have a fun set. You're not going to make money on that type of show, but it'll be fun.
I mean, it would be nice to get the money to put in, especially paying, you know, what we're paying for a record, but, like...
No, I know, I hear you.
You know, it's, at the same time, it's like, you know, specifically for Green Jello, that was, like, one of those... You know, I don't care if we get money off of this, because that is good expo. We're going to play in Rochester in front of people we don't know.
Right.
And we're going to rock the shit out of this place. And then, you know, the next time we play Rochester, people might be like, "Oh, we gotta go. We gotta buy a ticket."
It's worth it.
And this show we did this past weekend, I, you know, was in my mind was a favor to one of the other bands. Like, so I'm like, I'm doing this for them. I don't, you know, we sold a ton of merch. That's
nice.
You know, both of those. So
yeah, you guys have a good merch game going on. I have to say,
we had to downsize, man. We have so much merch.
Really,
we couldn't. So between the 5 of us, 2 of us don't drive, and 1 of us doesn't drive to the shows. So we're in basically 2 vehicles, but most of us are in 1 vehicle. There's 4 in 1 vehicle.
Okay.
So we've got all our gear, including drums, guitars, all that, and we got to fit the merch.
Yeah.
So we actually had to downsize the merch. So our merch table has been a little bit smaller than usual, but we've been, you know, selling stuff. So
nice. That's good. We got to up our merch game. Actually, we need some new stuff, but yeah. Now I should have brought a notebook and like you got things I need to work.
Write down and learn. You can always watch it back. It's on demand when the show's over. You can watch it on YouTube.
All right.
Yeah. No. But yeah. I mean, it's a lot of time. This show is just a bunch of like me and John talking about whatever the fuck comes to mind. But sometimes this show is actually pretty educational for people in bands, promoters. Yeah. Whatever, you know, and you know, this is one of those episodes where you're gonna learn shit today.
Nice.
So, you know, if anybody's even watching, you know, but
right on, man.
They'll watch on demand later. I'll see the comments come up on the YouTube page, but no, I mean, but I would like to think that, you know, we are a good resource for promoters, for bands and stuff like that to tune in and just
absolutely.
And also, but the main thing is for music fans, because we want to get people out to shows.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, maybe you're not great at promoting, but if I see you're playing and I'm like, oh, there's something I can play on the show this week and promote, and, you know, you see I got all these event page tabs open where it's just, you know, we're going to play a song every 30 minutes and we're going to talk about that band and where they're playing and, you know, try to get people out to it, hopefully. So that's the goal. But if we can teach people how to be better musicians, better you know, at promoting themselves and better at promoting shows in general, you know, and I think this is going to be a weekly segment of me calling out Mark about not making the event pages.
Come on, Mark.
You know, co-hosted by the bands in the venue, like.
Well, I guess if you want, we could make a. What I've learned though recently is like just that. Throwing yourself out there without like caring what comes back at you, it allows you to be more free with even like I feel like the energy at our shows has been better recently because instead of me like when I'm playing a song like having the energy of like you really need to listen to this song, like this is a great song, I love this song, you should love it too. I'm just kind of making shit up in my head of like what someone might think about like. In my head, at least now that I don't know, grown up a little bit. COVID kind of messed me up, made me just different, honestly, a little bit. Like I just sort of rethought a lot of things. But what I do now is like, even if I'm playing live, is like I'm gonna rock the song, and I really don't care if you like it or not. But I think that's good for the listener because instead of them being like, you know, this guy like seems arrogant or something. It's like I'm just saying like I hope you like it. Like I want you
like
to like it.
Or like this guy's trying too hard kind of deal.
Yeah,
no.
but I'm like, of course I want everyone to get off on the music, but I'm not like I'm not like in my head thinking like you have to or like I'm gonna be the same dude when I walk off stage regardless of what happened there. So it's like I'm just gonna let it rip and then like go about my business as I would have anyway. That has allowed me to be more like open on stage and stuff too. And even just with inviting people to come out and stuff is like, I'm not gonna put my self-worth on the line. Like, if that makes sense?
Sure.
Like if you can't come or you say like I'm not gonna make it, I'm not gonna be like upset. I'm just like
right.
I'm gonna just try and whatever comes back at me is what comes back at me. But I'm not like I don't know. People can sense that I'm not like desperate like for their response. You know what I mean? Whereas if you are in that way, like, please, dude, come on, like, then people are like, dude, it's
where you're at the show and the singer's like, come on, like, trying to get everybody. Yeah, no, I don't do that. I don't like to do that. I don't like watching bands do that. It's cringy a little bit.
Yeah,
cringe as the kids call it these days, right?
I think it's just do whatever. I think you got to just do whatever.
My whole thing is, I'm gonna go up on stage. I'm gonna play the best damn set I've ever played. I'm going to show that we are the best band on this fucking bill, whether we're starting or ending or in the middle somewhere. And, if you like it, cool, we got merch over there.
Right. Yeah.
If not, cool.
Right.
Enjoy the next band, enjoy whoever's next. I don't want to go in there and I'm not going to go in there and shit on the crowd for not being into it.
Yeah.
But, because that's just, sometimes you get a crowd that just doesn't have an energy to it, and that happens. That's gonna happen. But you can't just chastise the crowd like, come on, get into it. Like,
no. And like, there's a lot of factors, like whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of weird. Like, maybe for some reason beyond your control, it's just wasn't meant to be or some shit. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I know
something in the air where people just aren't super energetic. And just because they're not energetic doesn't mean that they're not enjoying it. I think you can maybe tell that. Although I do feel like we've had good react. Obviously, it does feel good if people are getting into it. But I think that the key for me is that, like, I'm as happy. Like, it's weird. Like, the happiness. Like, I'm like, I don't need, like, it's not like I'm depressed. And then, like, if you're having a good time in the show, I'm happy. It's like, I'm just happy. I'm going to play the show. I'm going to leave the show. And I'm going to be just as happy as I was.
Sure.
Like, there's obviously, if you have a really good show, you obviously get, like, a dopamine hit or something. And you're like, that was fucking great. Oh, my gosh. Like, felt really good. But, like, you ultimately go back to baseline, whatever that is. And that's what has allowed me to be more open on stage. Because I'm just like, I am at this level of, like, joy in life or whatever. Playing a good gig or a bad gig isn't really going to change that much.
Sure.
It changes it, like, right when you walk off stage, but, like, 10 minutes later, you're pretty much where you were before.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this. I don't look at the crowd when I play. I have a tendency to not look at the crowd. Yeah. And so I don't even see if they're right up front, because you get those singers, come on, we don't bite, come closer, like, yeah. I don't fucking care about that. If I hear you, I appreciate it. Like, we played fucking Green Jello. And somebody, so there's a we talked about Taylor Swift, and there's a bit in our set before we had two guitar players. I'm just playing this, like, chugging riff from a Nirvana song in one of our songs. Like, it is straight up lifted from a Nirvana song, but my singer thought something needed to go over it, so she just started singing "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift.
Nice.
And now that we have the second guitar player, there's a solo there, but still my drummer has to hear it with the Taylor Swift, so he'll start singing it to himself. And so my singer says, John's going to sing Taylor Swift to himself during this song. And somebody yelled something about Taylor Swift, like how much they love Taylor Swift. And I looked over and I saw the guy. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I know that guy. Like, right. And this is like 4 or 5 songs into the set. This is the first time I've noticed that this guy is in the crowd that I know.
Yeah.
Because I'm not looking.
Right.
I'm focused on what I'm doing. And, like, even if I do look out to the crowd, I'm oblivious to what's going on. And also with the lights and everything.
Yeah, it's hard to make it out.
So, so I don't really care where the crowd is standing, especially if there's not a lot of people in the crowd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes there's a neutral band that has both. For instance, a band that gives 0 fucks but also tries to hype the crowd as guar.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I'm saying when I talk about this is, like, just do whatever you want to do. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, don't. And even with, like, us making ska music, like Guar, obviously they do what they want to do. They have a very unique thing that they're doing.
Yeah,
I think thought out,
if you go, I'm going to finish this thought and then we're going to go to a song break. But if you go to a show at, like, a Mohawk place and the only people there are, like, the bands, their girlfriends, and 1 or 2 other people that showed up to see the show, and people are lining up against the back wall, against the sound booth or whatever, like, you can't get upset if they're not going up front. That's awkward
No.
for somebody like. And also, I'm in my 40s, bro. I'm tired. I should be taking a nap. I shouldn't be at this show. But I'm here and I'm supporting you. So if I'm leaning up against the back wall, mind your own fucking business, right?
Yeah, no. Well, that's I guess what I mean. You can't be judging anything. You just have to be in the moment and be present and be yourself. Like,
And also, genuine personality is so much more appreciated than fake, for sure. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Like if the band looks like they are genuinely having fun, I'm gonna have fun.
yeah, definitely. It's infectious for sure.
Yeah. So also coming up on Saturday at Riff City, which is at 166 Chandler Street in Buffalo. That's the old Tapos Pizza. It's Riff City, 420 Fest at Riff City, presented by Thin Man Brewery. Let's see if we can find a lineup of bands. There it is. Incredible lineup of bands including Pharaoh, Uncle Ben's Remedy, Folk Faces, Leroy Towns, The Night Shift, and Strange Standard. And that is from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. And I don't see prices or anything in here, so there is a ticket link.
I see that there. Yeah, it was. I believe it might even be $20 because it's a badass.
Probably. That's a lot of bands and a lot of really good bands.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really good lineup.
Like
of
Folk
bands.
Faces, Uncle Ben's, Remedy, Pharaoh. They're all fucking amazing.
Pharaoh,
of course.
yeah, all those guys, and Kevin, the Night Shift is great, and
Night Shift. Yeah.
what a dude, honestly, though. Too.
I didn't like. I knew the name Night Shift as soon as she said Kevin. I'm like, that's who that is. Like, yeah. I saw them at Music's Art Lab. We actually went across. We saw Garage across the river.
Right.
Came back over the bridge, saw the Night Shift, and then played our set.
Fun times.
Yeah, Music is Art's great.
Yeah,
I can't
that's a
wait.
great day.
Can't wait for September. Anyway, we're going to play a band off this show. It's Strange Standard, and this song is called Cut Man Stitch. I might need binoculars or something for seeing that screen over there. And this is Strange Standard on all WNY. ThinkSoJoE Show.
Making waves in the crew that I'm riding on. Hollering back, sneak attack, I'm coming at you, son. Jet said I don't sweat if you wanted more. What's your stance? Take a chance, what you fighting for? What to do when the time comes. Oh, how it goes. What can you get when you got none? Get the crew rolled through, it's time to make it right. It's been too long waiting on, hit the show tonight. I'm on the run just for fun and I don't pay no mind. So if you slack, step back, cause I'm making mine. Already know what to do when the time comes. Oh, how it goes. What can you get when you got none? I'm riding hard till the break of dawn. Making moves, yeah, we put it on. Far gone when you're feeling sweet. Fire up, now let's bring the heat. I'm gonna let it out. Yeah, I'm gonna get it out. Ain't nothing gonna bring me down. Rising up. Oh, how it goes. Yeah. Well, can you? Hey. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna let it out. Yeah, I'm gonna get it out. Ain't nothing gonna bring me down. Rising up from the underground.
That was Strange Standard, the song called Cut Man Stitch on all WNY ThinkSoJoE show.
That was great.
Yeah. Oh, they're an amazing band.
For
I
sure.
got their vinyl over here somewhere. I just cleaned up the studio, so now I can actually get to my record collection again, just in time for Record Store Day, which is coming up on Saturday.
Nice.
Before
Bring
we
in
talk
some
about
more.
records, so we were just talking about hockey.
Yeah.
We just saw that the Sabres cut like half their fucking coaching staff. Granato's gone.
Yeah.
I half jokingly said we should hire Lindy Ruff back.
Right. People aren't feeling that.
I see a lot of people not feeling that.
People are not feeling the Lindy vibes whatsoever.
For me, I think like part of it is, wasn't he the coach the last time we made the playoffs?
I get what you're saying. Oh, is that true?
I feel like it is.
Oh my gosh.
Because I think like Pagula
That's
took
terrible.
over.
Oh,
Pagula
man.
took over. We
You're
made
right.
the playoffs that season. And then we didn't make the playoffs after that, and it was Lindy was the scapegoat for that and got fired. And I'm just sitting like, I just remember when Lindy got fired, I'm like, you fired the wrong fucking guy, right? Like
Yeah.
Darcy should have been the one to go.
He was there though for like, what was it, like 15 years or something? So maybe it was just time.
Yeah, I mean for sure.
And now, more time's gone by. He's in his mid-60s.
I'm not saying that he would be a good coach to bring back. I was literally half joking when I said that.
No, I mean, I think
But-
everybody, it crossed my mind. I mean, no doubt.
But
Like you said,
at the
because of
same time, he is available right now, and he
Sure.
is the last coach to take this team to the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So-
No, it crossed my mind. I'm a big
Yeah.
Sabres fan, so.
It's been so hard to just sit here and just, especially last year when we missed it by like two points.
One.
1 point, yeah.
One.
And
point.
just, we were so close. We were within
Yeah.
3 points of a playoff spot this year and then started losing games. It's like,
Yeah.
come on.
Every time they got close, they would just lose.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating as a fan because they kept you kind of interested. They never lost a lot of games in a row, but never won a lot of games in a row. And as soon as they got close, they lost every single
It
time.
did get to a point. It's like,
like
I only
every
went.
time.
I only went to one game this season, which is
Yeah.
a very low amount of games for me to go to, and it's just
Yeah.
a lot of that was I don't want to go watch them lose. Like,
I know. I went to a lot of games this year, and I guess it's that same kind of attitude though I have, where I'm just like, you know what? I like going to hockey games. I'm just gonna
Sure.
go, and I'm not gonna care so much about what happens. Like I'll enjoy it. I don't know. It's weird. Like as weird as it is, like when you let go of expectation, you can live like more free and like just. But you don't have like as big a highs or as big a lows. You're just kind of like. I've just been in a good space, I guess, where I'm just kind of in the middle. Like, yeah, when the Sabres lose, when I was younger, I would literally be walking out of there, like, wanting to break stuff, like, pissed off, all mad. And now I'm like, when they lose, I guess maybe I've also just gotten really used to it, like, walking out of the arena after a loss. And it's like, but you just sort of, like, get on with it. But I will say when they win, it feels great.
There was a period of time where I could have said like, yeah, Sabres have never lost with me in the building because I didn't go to many games. But all the games I went to, they won, and then I went with my late best friend Brian.
Oh, sorry, brother.
We went. Just the Sabres were playing the Rangers. I was like, "Who wants to go?" He's like, "I'll go," even though I'm not. I like the Islanders. He's from Long Island.
Okay.
So we went, and as we're on the way there, he's like, "I got to tell you, I've never been to a game where the home teams won."
Really?
And then the Sabres got blown the fuck out that night. So.
When was
Oh, this was years ago.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering if I remembered the game. Or
No, I think it ended up being like 6-2 or 8-2 or something. I don't know. New York.
Speaking of Rangers,
yeah.
they were the first game. There was the first game of the year this year. They came out and punched us in the mouth so hard, kicked our butt, and I thought to myself, man, the Rangers look really strong. They ended up winning the President's Trophy, dude. Congrats to the Rangers if there's any Rangers fans out there. Not that it makes me feel any good.
We'll see if
I
that President's
don't
Trophy
like the
curse
Rangers.
hits.
Yeah, for sure. They say they don't ever like win the cup, right? It hasn't happened in recent years. But, yeah, they had a good season all year, and it was like that game, the first game of the year, kind of like I was just thinking that the other day, like, wow, Sabres came out really flat, not very confident, and played pretty poorly in that game, and the Rangers looked so strong, and like the whole season kind of like went that way for both clubs. But we still love them. Hopefully they do. And they weren't like a total disaster this year.
No, I mean,
just not good enough, you know.
They kept getting close, but then shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Like
ultimately, they missed out by 7 points.
Yeah.
They needed to win 4 more games. Which, you know, you think about it, they could have won 4 more games
easily.
How it could? It's Jack Quinn, maybe if he was there, could have helped.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see who gets the nod to be the coach and what happens.
Cool.
What happens in the off season here.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Lindy though. People aren't.
No,
feeling their vibes.
I honestly don't want it to be Lindy. I don't think it should be. No. But I did post, hey, you know, Lindy Ruff's available. So.
Yeah, you can't help but have your mind wander there though.
Of course,
like, you know,
he's available and he's beloved here.
Yeah, he's the last time we actually like had a club that like a good team. So
I don't even think it's that. I mean, like even when he was with New Jersey and like RJ died, he was here doing media and everything, and like was part of that, you know, that night at the arena with where they were paying homage to him. Like,
oh, I didn't even realize that was the Devils were in town for that one.
No, he was here.
Oh, I see.
Like he came in and he did.
Yeah, you'd think maybe he would want the job.
I would think he would want the job.
Yeah. Well, they were saying on the that
I saw
Kevin Adams might have a guy in mind. You know,
yeah,
because that's what they're saying on the radio.
Well, I saw somebody say that Lindy like has a house here. He still lives here.
No kidding.
So like
Isn't weird
it would be convenient. It would be easy. You wouldn't have to.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, but is that the right decision? Probably not.
Yeah. I guess now I'm thinking, is Buffalo a cool place to be? Some people that come here that are not Buffalonians, just like you said, the sports teams, they stay here, you know? Some people, like Marty Baron, for example. I mean, I know he got a job, so he, like, you know, covers the Sabres, but I think there's some other guys who, like, stick around.
Sure.
I'm just wondering because I feel like, well, I love Buffalo, but, like, we're, like, a lot of us are, like, locals, you know? It's a little different to, like, move here.
Let me ask you this, though. Like, how many people do you know that left here that stayed gone, as opposed to people you know who have left here who have come back? It's a lot of people that come back, right?
Yeah, a lot of people come back, I'd say. I know a few people that have left and stayed.
Sure,
I mean, but yeah, more people for sure. Like, you know,
I definitely know more people who have left and come back, and I think that says, you know, like you could go to the coolest fucking places ever, but they ain't Buffalo.
No, it's because it's the people, you know.
Yeah,
it's just the people you grew up with, and like there's something special about that, or like family and stuff brings you, because obviously the weather's not bringing you here. It's a little depressing, you know. I mean, I don't mind. I'm not super sensitive to cold. I whatever. We just grew up here. Like I could deal with it, but it's obviously not like pleasant. Like most of the time, it's pretty. No,
it's like 50 degrees out today, and I walked outside. It's like, hey, it's fucking nice out
like,
today.
Yeah, this is freaking awesome, man. Hell yeah. Oh. Freaking hell yeah, man. It's 50 degrees. Yeah, like rainy, like light drizzle. You're like, whatever. It's pretty much standard.
It felt like spring outside, man.
Well, actually, it turned out to be a really good evening. When I was driving here, I was like, wow, it really cleared up. It's nice. It's a nice day. But yeah, a lot of people, you know, like you said, do come back. Or I'm actually thinking about, like, for some reason I'm thinking about Megan Brown, you know, from Grosh.
Yeah.
Like, she's not from here.
She's from Texas.
But she's obviously found a home here and likes it here. So there's something to be said. I don't know. People talk about the music scene being cool here. I've never lived anywhere else. I don't know. Do we have a cool music scene? We're talking about it all day.
I saw somebody today. They posted that, you know, they had a memory come up of them going to New Orleans, and they're like, oh yeah, I really miss New Orleans because the music scene here sucks compared to there. And I'm just like, I almost commented, well, fuck you too then.
Well, yeah, that kind of hurts. Yeah,
like come on. Man. Like, yeah, we're not in New Orleans and we're not fucking Nashville, but like if you can't find good bands to listen to in Buffalo, you're looking in the wrong fucking place.
There's good bands. I think the biggest problem is maybe I think there's a lot of good bands and a lot of good shows all the time, but it's like hard to you know, maybe there's just not enough people to like fill. Because like the music is actually only part of the show, you know? Like, if there's, like maybe in bigger cities, there's just more people, so the clubs are just full of people. Sure. Which makes the vibe better or something. I mean, my drummer the actual music is obviously, I think, on a higher level. And maybe there's a lot of musicians in Buffalo for sure. Like, there's so many different places you can see music.
My drummer and I were in Nashville. We were down there for wrestling, and we're walking up Broadway in Nashville, and just every 2 feet you're hearing a different song because everybody's playing in every bar. Right. And it was a Saturday night, so you know were there a lot of people out? There was so many people out. Right. And you know, I think most of them were local. I don't think a lot of them, you know, like we filled up half a fucking football stadium with wrestling fans, but there was definitely a lot of people out on the strip there. Right. And just for us, I don't know. It's like in the wintertime, it is kind of hard to bring people out because sometimes it's like it's kind of scary. I mean, in the wintertime, it's hard for us to get to our own shows.
Yeah, it's like a struggle to like get out the door sometimes. Yeah, especially I was talking to you about this. Like, I feel bad about this, to be honest, because I'm in a band. I go out and like play shows, but I don't really go out and support other bands, which I want to say sorry on here. But that's because, I mean, I have I have a 5-year-old, 7-year-old, 9-year-old at home, dude. I'm in the midst of like kid. I'm in the heat of that.
Well, I was telling you, we were talking about this,
dude. We were talking about this, but I can't get out to gigs, man.
We were talking about this exact thing before we came on the air today, and I told you I used to have a show called Think Metal, and somebody who was in a pretty prominent metal band at the time. Said that me and my co-host from that show were single-handedly destroying the music scene because we have a show called Think Metal, but I don't see you at any metal shows. It's like, dude, at the time I had an 8-year-old. I'm like, bro, I have an 8-year-old and I don't drive. Yeah. And I still don't drive, but I get out to as many shows as I can now that my kid's 19 and I don't got to worry about it, but like...
Yeah, it's a pretty lame attitude. That's actually the opposite attitude of what I've been talking about this whole time. Yeah. Of like... You know, if you come out, great, but if you don't, I'm not going to look at you any differently if you don't. Exactly. Which I obviously
people have lives, man. That's the point. People have lives.
Yeah, and even like
so for this guy to be like, you're single-handedly killing the music scene, and then that guy turned out to be a real piece of shit. I'm not naming any names, but right.
But that sounds like he was probably he wasn't happy inside his own skin.
No, and I don't think he still is, but that's neither here nor there. But
sure. But yeah, it's tough for me to get out. So like, because like. If I go out, then I'm putting a lot on my wife. Like, I have 3 little, like, it's getting easier though. When I had like a 5, 3, and 1-year-old, it was like, and that's like when COVID hit. So like, which was maybe good because we were just sort of at home, like just raising kids. But like, it's gotten better. I will say, like having my youngest being 5, I feel like I can maybe go out a little bit more now and like, is not putting so much on my wife because, which, you know, she's so great, like supporting me to, you know, it's pretty, some of my friends are even like, you still play in the band? Like, how are you doing that? And I'm like, I don't know. We sort of just talk about stuff and like we value like each other, like doing things they like to do. I do the same thing with her. Like, you know, check in on yourself, like ask yourself, what do you value? What do you like to do? Stuff like that. And like, if she likes to do something, I'm like, yeah, you can do it. You know, a little, like as much as you can. Obviously, there's a certain point where it can be too much, where you're putting too much on the other person. But yeah, thankfully I have a partner though who like supports the music, and we practice at our place. Like, you know, blowing up the house.
Sarah says moms are superheroes. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. I mean, she has to like sacrifice for me to be able to still go out and play in a band. But that's where it's like, she's already making such a sacrifice for me to even be able to make the art that I want to make and play shows. It's like hard for me to support other people. Because what I'd want to do is go support bands like with her. But then I gotta find a sitter, and exactly. It's like, I don't want to pay for one. I'm so cheap, you know. So then it's like mom, dad, and then like, but they can only watch so much too. You know what I mean? I can't just dump the kids. I have 3 of them, so I can't just dump them on people all the time so we can go to rock shows.
Right, and at the time that this was said about me, I was a single dad of an 8-year-old. So
Holy shit, really?
We got joint custody.
Yeah.
So I have the kid every other weekend.
Yeah, you gotta.
How, like, what am I going to do? Like, oh, it's my weekend. Hey, I got to find a sitter. Like, what the fuck? I can't do that.
In that situation, you
So,
literally cannot.
you know, so if anybody was offended that I was playing your music on my podcast and promoting your shows and not coming to them, I apologize, but...
Setting the record straight.
I had, you know, bigger responsibilities then. Now I don't have as big of responsibilities, but I still don't drive, so it's still like...
Right.
You know, if I get to your show, you should be honored. I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, that's actually coming into my head is like, I've been thinking lately that everyone's like trying their best. And it's made me so much more gentle with people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
You don't know what people are going through.
Yeah, I'm just like, dude, like I said, if someone can't come to a gig, like even like a close friend or someone, or someone who says they are coming and they don't, like, or whatever, any little thing, someone flips me off on the road and they like look like they want to kill me or something, I'm just like, dude, that's the best they got right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's shit, it's still, it's like you said, there's the reason for why they're like that, and it's just, I like having that mindset because then I'm instead of thinking like what a jerk, I'm just thinking like that's the best that they can do right now for whatever reason it might be. So.
I think like being in my band, it's kind of like, you know, I kind of get this idea of like, I see what everybody's going through and I see where they're taking it out on other people and I see like, okay, they didn't mean to do that. That's just, they're in a fucking shit mood. They don't want to deal with whatever, you know, like, and you know, you can't take that shit personally. So, and that's, you know, so you got to kind of think that with everybody of like, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what kind of day they're having, what they like, they probably don't mean to take shit out on you. Just, you're there.
Right.
You know, and you know.
Should be nice though.
Yeah,
that's kind of my motto is like, I've been letting it rip a little bit more with like music and just in all aspects of life, just being like, I'm going to do what I want to do, but I try never to like hurt people's feelings though.
Exactly.
When you cross that line and you're just like, I'm doing whatever I want, which is to tell you you suck about whatever it is, like that's not, no, like that's taking it too far where you're like, you can't be a jerk though, you know what I mean? Like that's
we're also both older dudes, so we have the benefit of hindsight, and we've kind of grown out of that fucking high school bullshit, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
You know, and I see a lot of people on my Facebook friends list that haven't grown out of that, and I'm just like, you are ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know?
But again, keeping that gentle attitude of like, they're trying their best, but they just don't know or whatever. I mean, I still don't know. I'm still like, but you're right. I mean, I will say aging though, isn't aging kind of rad? There's a lot of people that like say, I will never say like, I wish I could be young again. I won't say that shit. Like, yeah, I'd like to be, by the way, I'm going like deaf out of my right ear, everybody. So like, I like literally saw an audiologist this week.
Another thing we talked about before
they were
the show.
like, you can't hear shit. And I was like, oh damn, like that sucks. But
we were talking about good earplug brands.
So I wish I could hear better. And I was like, had bigger muscles or something. I'm just kind of making jokes. But like, I would not want to be young again. I don't know. Like, there's something nice about getting older and not caring what people think.
You have the
mean?
benefit of hindsight. Like, I look back at like, you know, my second marriage comes up a lot. And it's like, I hate the person that I was then. I don't know who that dude was. When I was 26 or whatever, you know? Like, I'm much happier at 42 and being who I am and doing what I, you know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I guess I'm trying to say this so that, like, because I hate when people say stuff like that to kids. Like if a kid complains, they'll be like, well, you can't complain because, like, I wish I was 21 again. And it's like, no, actually being 21 is really fucking hard.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the hell you're doing. And it's unsettling, you know? Or even, like, not knowing, like, what your future holds. It's kind of nice to, like, know what it holds. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be super deep.
No, you get into a rhythm, you get into a career that you like, you get to, you know, you get to see your kids grow up, you know. That was awesome for me is my kid growing up to be just like me, even though she was raised by her mother, you know. But,
yeah, it's cool.
You know, and you know, now I get to hang out with my kid instead of like you know,
gotta be nice.
Like, it's my weekend, she's at my house, you know.
Right.
So you know.
So is it like cool to have, I guess, yeah, like being young and having like all these possibilities, I actually think that's kind of stressful.
Sure. More
possibilities is like exciting, but it's stressful. Whereas like when you get older, there's less possibility, but it's not a bad thing, man. No, it actually kind of feels nice.
I saw an interview with somebody, and I can't remember who it was. It was probably a wrestler or somebody, and they're like, "Why don't you dye your hair? Dye your hair. It's going gray." And they're like, "Dude, I earned these."
Yeah, right.
You know, like,
yeah, embrace that.
Like,
Embrace
same
it,
here,
for
man.
sure.
I got the gray right here. I earned that shit.
Yeah, I have gray on my beard, for sure. And some
Still have hair on top of your head though, so that's
Yeah.
you're doing better than I am.
So I feel like the next haircut I get might be like a very revealing haircut.
Yeah. I'm
might have
definitely
to hold off on that
The
one.
older I get, the more I hear that from people. Is like, yeah, I don't want to cut my hair because it ain't growing back.
It might not be the same ever again, for sure.
There's always the jokes about like when I was in my 20s and I was singing in a band, I would have my hair braided because it would get in my mouth if I didn't. And so like there's pictures of me with the braids, and I'm, so the running joke on the show is, oh, you're wearing the hat, you're covering up your braids. Like, no, I'm literally bald. There is no hair up here. Like,
No shit. When did it go?
It started going probably like 15 years ago. I was working, I was starting to thin like right here, just a little bit, like not even noticeable.
Yeah.
At least not to me. And then I started working this hotel job, and the manager we had at the time was a total fucking dick. Like,
It was him.
he said, no, he was like, oh, I see you're thinning a little bit on top too. And I was like, huh? Like,
Yeah, you're like, what?
And then the next thing I knew, it went from like this little bit to like,
Oh, geez.
and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna start shaving my head now. So
Did you look? You one of the guys that like looks good though with a shaved head. I think you are.
I mean, look at that.
It
I look
seems
great.
very natural.
I look great. I gotta stop putting my headphones around the microphone though, because that sometimes causes. It didn't do feedback this time. But
I'm thinking about other weird shit, like you said. If some people confuse honesty with like as a noble trait, but if it's vicious, it's not. It's
Sure.
not nice. Like
Sure.
Like, oh, I told this guy his hair was thinning. I really like just letting him know, you know. It's
Well,
like,
let me say
it
this
really
about
wasn't
that manager.
necessary, bro. Like,
Let me
you know
say
what I'm
this
saying?
about that manager. One morning he came in to relieve me because I was the overnight guy and he would work the 7 to 3. He came in to relieve me, and he's within earshot of customers, and he literally said, "I would never stay at a Super 8." Like, motherfucker, you're the manager of a fucking Super 8.
Yeah.
Like, you are literally standing in a Super 8 wearing a name tag that says Super 8 with your name on it, says general manager, and you're saying this shit in earshot of customers, dude. What the fuck? So, like, when that guy got let go, I was like, good.
Yeah.
That guy didn't need to be here.
No, yeah, that doesn't even make
I wasn't a
any
fan
sense.
of the guy who replaced him much either, but we got better over time. But like, you know,
Yeah.
but that guy was just like the worst, and I don't think he meant to be. It was just
Right. I don't think
he was very
anybody-
blunt.
Yeah, I don't. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
By the way, Super
No.
8s are great fucking places to stay.
Right
I don't work for Wyndham anymore, but I will fucking say Super 8s are great fucking places to stay most of the time.
okay.
You know, so but that's
I
that's
can't
just me.
recall if I've ever stayed in a Super 8. I don't travel much.
I typically, if I am traveling, will stay at like a Wyndham hotel, which would be like a Days Inn or a Super 8 or whatever, and that's because like I still get discounts
Yeah, man.
because I still know people, so
For
I can
sure.
simply say, "Yo, can you hook me up?" My one buddy was working for Best Western for a little while, so that was like I was getting Best Western discounts,
Nice.
which was great. Now he's back at Wyndham, so now it's back to Super 8s, or I'll just stay at an Airbnb now because I try to work while I'm
Yeah.
on the road.
Right.
So it's easier.
I go camping a lot. I have a camper.
I never really got into camping, so
I get it.
but I like doing Airbnbs because it's just I can bring a microphone and a laptop and I can work without worrying about if I'm bothering somebody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know,
It's nice to be able to work on the road. You know, COVID really showed us that it's possible. Like, you
I mean,
can go-
I was fortunate
somewhere
enough to already be working from home.
yeah. Oh, really?
So you know, like I was so glad to be out of the hospitality industry by that point because it's like I don't, you know,
Yeah,
I would
I
have
can
to
see how
go to
that'd
this
be tough.
hotel and then I'm dealing with people from all over the world. Well, probably not though because like you know shit was shut down and people couldn't travel, but I would have hated that during COVID. I would have been like paranoid probably the whole time. But
Yeah, for sure.
But I was already working at home for myself and not having to worry about any of that. So it was just like, cool, I don't have to leave the house.
Yeah.
Which was great because I was still with Karina and she was immunocompromised. So I couldn't, like, you know, if I did leave the house, she would make me take a shower immediately when I got home, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, luckily I didn't have to go anywhere to make money and, you know, support us and all that. So, you know, and I still
Pretty
don't.
smooth transition for you.
Yeah, very smooth. It was nice. I was like, this is very convenient.
Yeah, for some people it was like, oh, this is kind of great. For the world as a whole, not so great.
Speaking of convenient, if you're in Rochester, this show might be convenient for you to go to.
Go.
This is Sunday at 7 p.m. at Photo City Music Hall, 615 Atlantic Avenue in Rochester. Great venue, by the way. It is LFG, Matt Seidel Band, Letters from New York, Paul Anthony, and I believe that says Vagabond Click. You guys got to stop spelling your names with X's, even though I always tell my drummer, like, if you're going to start a new band, make sure your shit's Googleable. But Photo City presents Get Primed to Go on a Sonic Journey, Letters from New York, Alternative Rock from Rochester, the Matt Seidel Band from your favorite fun rock band from the 585, LFG or Alt Rockers in Rochester, Paul Anthony, singer-songwriter, rocking singer-songwriter in the rock, and Vagabond Click, singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. That's Sunday, April 21st. Doors open at 7 o'clock at Photo City Music Hall, 543 Atlantic Avenue, Rochester, New York. And we're going to play a song. I didn't even set this up to play. I got to push the button. There we go. We're going to play a song from Letters from New York. The song is called Getting Old is Getting Old. Kind of appropriate given what we were
didn't
just
even,
talking about.
holy shit. Serendipitous,
What a coincidence.
dude.
Anyway, here it is. Letters from New York on all WNY. ThinkSoJoE Show.
No way, my teenage years are almost done. It's okay,
That was Letters from New York from Rochester. They're playing at Photo City this Sunday. Those guys are killer, man. That was the first time I've heard them. I don't listen to the songs a lot before we play them these days. Like it used to be, the way I would program would be like, I'd play it on YouTube Music or whatever and just record it directly to my mixer. So I just hit one of the sound pads and it plays. But
Gotcha.
nowadays it's easy because it's all in the DJ software. So I could just put it in a playlist and it's ready to go. Yeah. So I don't really listen to the songs beforehand, and that was killer.
Yeah, for sure.
I like
all
that.
these songs are great.
Yeah.
Is there anything like with playing other people's stuff? Do you have to if it's like a local band, you don't have to ask permission? At what point do you have to ask like permission?
I mean,
is that a thing?
Realistically, a lot of these songs I shouldn't be playing.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
to be perfectly honest here. It depends, right? Because you've got your performing rights organizations like your BMI, your ASCAP, all that, right? So,
right.
Like if a band has their music registered with one of those PROs, realistically, I shouldn't be playing them.
Right.
But at the same time, nobody gives me shit about it because, like, if I'm sitting here and you're not coming on the show and I see you guys are playing and I say, oh, I'm going to play Reggie. I'm going to play Reggie Childs this week.
Yeah.
Are you going to be like, oh, well, you owe us royalties for that?
Right.
Are you going to report me to fucking BMI or ASCAP, right? Like,
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I can see how that might be a thing if you're.
So, you know,
bigger band, I guess, could possibly. I don't even think the bands care, but I hear people don't like streaming service. If you're like, a streaming service could even give you shit about it, right?
So the only thing I've been told for all WNY, and we're broadcasting on all WNY, just audio. The only thing I was told was, I can't let the locals play. I can't play cover bands or cover songs from the locals.
Okay.
Because of ASCAP, BMI, and all that.
Yeah.
So, license-wise, Paul Heyman played copyrighted music in ECW, but I don't think anyone called the tournament. So, actually interesting about the Paul Heyman thing, he said in an interview once that the reason they got away with playing all that copyrighted music, and they were playing like big, well-known songs, like the Sandman would come out to Metallica's Enter Sandman, which when he went to WWE, Metallica was like, yeah, you got to give us $1 million every time you play it. But the reason Paul Heyman got away with it was there used to be some kind of rule back then where if it's just music in the background and not actually put through not actually played through like the mixer that's mixing the sound, you could get away with it.
Wow.
And that's how he got away with that for so many years. But as far as but like I said, with this, it's, none of the bands I've never had a band reach out and say, hey, don't play us.
Permission, something like that.
Because I think everybody understands what the goal is here, which is, as we've discussed, is, I see a band like Letters from New York is playing on Sunday in Rochester. I want to introduce people to that band and be like, yo, check this band out, go see them.
For sure. Yeah, I don't see why anyone would.
It's a promotional tool, and that's why you're here, right? Like you got your 10th anniversary show coming up Saturday.
Yeah.
And you're here to promote that. You're not, and
Tudor Lounge.
And even if you weren't here to promote that, I'd probably have seen it and been like, yo, I got to play this.
Yeah, we'll be at Tudor Lounge. Hopefully, you guys can make it. It's I just can't believe we've been a band for 10 years. It's pretty crazy.
I mean, we got 5 coming up, and it's just like I can't believe it's been 5.
Yeah, time
years.
goes quick.
Like literally, I have the flyer made up. I'm just waiting for one band to confirm before I put up the event page and release the flyer. And the flyer says 5 fucking years of the Living Brain Dead. Like literally says that on it, and it's amazing. But like you said, it's that relationship you have with those guys, and being able to, talk shit out when you are clashing or whatever, and having that kind of relationship. So I could be the Paul Heyman of all WNY. I mean, I do not have the oration skills, the vocabulary to be a Paul Heyman, but that's I try my best to not sound dumb when I do these things. Anyway.
Brother.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, none of the bands are ever going to complain that I'm fucking playing.
Yeah,
their
for
music.
sure. I mean, like you said, you're just trying to raise awareness about shows, and
It was when we started distributing the shows through what's now called Spotify for podcasters, but it used to be Anchor.fm. And when I first started distributing the shows through there, it went up on all the platforms except for Spotify. And I reached out, and they were like, "Oh, you know, you're playing this music." I'm like, "Yeah, but none of the bands are complaining." And it's a promotional tool for the bands. They all know they're getting played because I promote it in advance before it airs. And they've, they were like, "Oh, okay." And then I was on Spotify. And right now, the only place I ever get muted is Facebook.
right.
Facebook will mute some of the music because it's like, "Oh, we got," and it's usually bands who have distributed their shit through CD Baby instead of like DistroKid.
Okay.
But that's
Yeah,
neither
that
here nor
works.
there because the YouTube videos are good.
yeah.
And YouTube will tell me, like, there's a copyright claim on this, but it's not affecting your channel.
Gotcha.
You are allowed to play this. The band is fine with it. You know, it's just they're gonna make money if this video makes money, which is fine.
I know what actually I'm thinking about YouTube. The band we're playing with is, on Saturday at Tudor.
Harrison
is
and the
Harrison and the Radiators. They were really good at getting a lot of plays on some of their songs on YouTube. They're just a great band. Adam Foster is
We were talking in between
Such a
songs about
good-
Adam. Yeah.
such a good songwriter. You know, it's like I don't know how he's not more popular, but I guess whatever. That's not.
I think we were talking.
He's just great.
We were talking in between a couple of songs ago. We were having a conversation about Harrison and the Rust Belts, Radiators rather. Got other
right.
bands on my Harrison and the
Inherent
Radiators,
Vice.
and we're talking about Inherent Vice, which was Adam's
right.
other band, and he was in that with my friend Nick. And the one criticism that I always had of Adam, and he knows this, is like he would kind of hide behind the other bandmates. So. And as that band went on, he started getting more confident, and I think if he's continuing to get more confident and he's more upfront on like at the front of the stage, and
I think he is.
letting people see him more, and I think that's maybe the one thing that might have been holding him back is he was a little too shy.
Right.
To be-
Yeah,
to be-
he's quieter dude. He's doing more, I think, like solo stuff now, which maybe tells me that he is.
And I
himself
like
out
Adam,
there
so
more.
that's not a knock on him at all. That he knows I've definitely said that to him
It's kind of
directly
a, it's
before.
kind of
so-
a special thing actually to have the Radiators out, honestly, because they don't play shows like ever anymore.
Well, we were kind of.
It was really cool. I asked Adam to play the gig, and when he said that they'd be able to do it, I was super stoked because they don't really play out much. Like Adam plays out, but they don't play out as the Radiators with those like set of songs. I don't think. I'm not sure if Adam plays those songs like. I know he does like solo shows and stuff, but haven't seen them out in a long time. So we're really excited to have them on the bill.
Like I was telling you, I saw him out at my show on Saturday, and I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but other people saw him, and they were like, "Oh, Harrison the Radiators is playing Saturday." I haven't
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't seen them in forever, and it's like
Yeah.
my thought
Hopefully
was
that
like,
brings
"Oh,
people
I
out.
haven't seen Adam in a while. I might go," and then I realized it was your show, and I'm like, "Oh, no, I definitely might go." So.
Yeah, that's what's tough with being in especially an original band is like how often do you want to play out? Like cover bands will play out every weekend, or even some people that are in the city, make a career out of it. Which honestly, like, so happy for them if they can play out all the time.
That's kind
But
of
it's
where we're
tough.
at right
it's
now.
tough
Is
to like decide how often you want to go out there and play because you really can't do it like every weekend.
that's kind of where we're at right now. Is somebody had asked us to play a benefit for themselves. They're sadly dealing with cancer, and we had to decline because it's like we're playing a show the next week, and we don't want to keep playing shows in Western New York like
Week in,
So-
week out.
we're here. We got shows booked every month, but some of them are like, one's May 28th and the next one's June 8th, and then
Pretty
so it's-
tight. Yeah.
it's hard to kind of promote when you've only got 2 weeks in between shows and you're playing in the same area. Like,
For sure.
if we were playing like New York or something on June 8th and playing Buffalo
Well,
May
that's the
28th.
thing,
And
yeah.
it's like, you know, we could promote those to different markets or whatever, but like now we're playing 2 shows. One's in West Seneca, one's in Buffalo.
Yeah, basically the same.
Basically, like, same distance from my house. You know?
Right.
Like, so it's.
So what do you think, like, once a month's a good schedule?
We're trying to do less than that. We're trying to do
every
like
2?
we're trying to do like 3 shows in Buffalo, and then we're trying to do the rest everywhere else. And it's
Once a
again,
quarter?
it's hard because kids, and also we don't know people in these other cities.
Yeah, that's. I feel like if you didn't grind out touring when you were a young, like, dude, it's hard to start doing that at a later age.
Like you just mentioned, you played in Rochester once, and this was our first like real show in Rochester, and you know that was that's we don't know anybody to book with out there. We know some of the bands, but like it's you know bands come and go, so like okay, cool, we want to play with this band. Oh shit, that band just broke up. Like
Right. I think if you could play a venue that just has people, like I'm thinking about, we played Fredonia at BJ's. And I don't know if you know that club, but it's like a rock club or bar basically.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Bar in Fredonia, and that was actually like the funnest show ever, man. But that's just because there's just kids that go, like the college kids just go there it was a Wednesday. I remember it was a Wednesday, and it was hot as, it was so hot, dude. It was like September, it was like the first week of school, like I want to say like the week after Labor Day, so like September 8th or something was this show. And it was the muggiest night. I'm like, this is gonna be crap. Like, I'm like, there's, you know, no one's gonna come because it's just uncomfortably hot. There was no air conditioning in the place. But dude, the place was full of people. It was like great. So yeah, if you get the right show where it's just like a venue that has people all the time, and the better part was that the people, our music is pretty, I say, college friendly. Like,
sure,
you know, it's poppy, like upbeat sort of stuff, ska, like kind of rock stuff, and the kids were really turned on. It was like one of the, I don't know, that show, I don't know why I'm babbling about it, but that show just really stuck out as like one of the best shows we've ever done, honestly. Well, it was out of town. That's what I'm saying. It's like it was out of town. We don't know anybody in Fredonia, but like we had a big audience to play for, and the audience was really nice to us. Like even though we didn't know any of them, so that was like the most flattering part about it. It wasn't like friends just being like, all right, well, we better cheer him on and all this shit. It was just like a bunch of kids that were like, hell yeah, dude, like, let's fucking go. And it was like the best. It was a really good show.
That's what I liked about the last 2 shows we played is we didn't sell tickets, so like nobody was actually there to see us. Yeah. And we just had all these people just super into us, like coming buying merch and shit after the set and coming like, oh man, you guys are so good. Like we had like, I think Saturday we had one guy who was there for us, and he was like, dude, you guys get so much better every time I see you.
Right on, man.
And I'm like, yeah, that's our singer. She puts in all the fucking work. she does so fucking much, and I just am along for this fucking ride.
I do think that it gets. I think if you're in the band, it's sometimes hard to realize that you are like improving over time.
It hasn't been for me, honestly.
No, well, sometimes we I don't know. I feel like that. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Like, are we? But. I don't know. It's like if you keep going at it, and basically, like, if you're super close to it, you might have a skewed view. But I mean, I just think, I'm just talking about our band, basically.
I mean, it is. Don't get me wrong. It's great to hear from people that we're, getting better every time they see us. But at the same time, it's like, I know how much work Jill's been putting in to be a better front person and better singer and everything.
How often do you guys rehearse?
Once a week.
That's good. That's a good schedule. Yeah, that's.
My drummer's taking drum lessons. I'm about to take guitar lessons, and like I've also always said, with no disrespect to anybody that's previously been in my band, is every time we get a new member, we get better.
Right.
And that's still continues to be the case, and that's again nothing against anybody that's previously been in my band, regardless of why they left or anything. It's just.
Right.
Like it was what it was at the time, and now it's a different beast, and it's, grown in its own way with these different members bringing their different styles and personalities and influences and all that. So that's, something to be said for changing your lineup every so often.
I
but-
can't relate because I've just been in the same.
You've been in the
group
same band
forever.
with the same dudes for 10 years.
I was looking for this band, man. I had this like, for like Reggie, you know, I was just like, I knew what kind of music we wanted to make. We did like, it, you know, it's lamest like meant to be sort of shit, but like, I had a vision of like the sound that I wanted to make, and like so did the guys that were with, and yeah, just glad that our paths crossed. I was just trying to, because I was always in bands, I was always making music, but I just felt like I wasn't making the music I wanted to
Sure.
make. I was just, because I was like, I got to be in a band, so I was just like in bands. I guess in high school I was making music I wanted to make at
Sure.
the time, but and I played with some really good musicians in high school.
We
Huge.
kind of brought up a little bit of like, I listened to basically everything when we were talking about Taylor
Yeah,
Swift.
for sure.
And so like, you know, the main reason I started a punk band was because like I could play punk.
Easier to play.
It's
Yeah,
easier. It's
for
easy
sure.
to play. That's why I started a punk band.
Yeah,
That's the honest truth is that's why I started the punk. But
Definitely.
you know, as time has gone on, I've kind of gotten music in my head that wouldn't fit with the band, and that's why I started doing like a solo thing and learning how to actually like program music and everything. So like I put out that first single back in December, Shades, and that was just noise that was in my head that I wanted to get out, and
Sweet.
took me a minute to figure out how to get that tone. And once I got that tone, that song just flowed right out. And
Sweet.
you know, it's so different from what I'm doing, but it's at the same time still pretty easy. So,
Right on, man.
but it's you know, that's why you know if you could find my Spotify or whatever, and I'm playing shit that's not necessarily shit for this. But at the same time, I love doing what I'm doing with Brain Dead, and I love playing all the fucking songs and just going out there and having a good time with my friends, you know, and that's.
Oh yeah.
That's
our main
I was telling
thing,
you when
too.
I saw you guys at Mohawk with Skyway, my buddy came out and he was just like, he was really drunk and he was like, oh, you know, wouldn't you be happier in a relationship? And wouldn't you be happier if you had somebody? So he's like, wouldn't you know? I think you'd be happier if you woke up next to somebody every day. And I said, I do. I have my cat Reese. She sleeps in the bed. And he says, no, I think you mean, I mean like human companionship. I'm like, oh, I have 5 of those. I have 4 of those. That's Living Brain Dead. I see him every Thursday. Like,
Oh, right
you
on,
know, that's my human interaction, man. I love my band. I love my bandmates. And I love the work that they fucking put in, and I love how much they improve every fucking time we go out and play. And just,
Yeah, everybody's different as to what they, you know, want or need out of life. You just
Sure.
got to ask yourself those questions, and you're like, yeah, if I feel like I get enough from like that, then if you're happy, then
and
everyone's just
another
different.
benefit of being older is now you know what the fuck you want. You know.
Yeah, you do have to ask yourself.
You've been through all the bullshit you thought you wanted,
Yeah,
and then you learn what you wanted. So you know for sure.
The
Absolutely.
biggest thing I've learned though from getting older, I guess, is just to keep asking yourself though too, like, you know, just I mean nothing serious. I'm not saying it's got to be like, you know, like super profound, but just, you know, just keep asking like yourself, just what do I value basically. And I always come to music and like, oh, I do, you know, I mean I know I should maybe do more dad stuff, maybe be even more ambitious and try to like make more money, but I don't fucking care about money so much.
Right.
Like I have a job and everything, but
Yeah.
I don't have that mindset where I'm like, I gotta grind it out and make a bunch of money. Yeah. I'm like, nah, like, well, I mean, I do, you know, have to work and
I
stuff,
mean,
but like,
the money's nice.
no, yeah, but it's like, I don't have that mindset where I'm like, I gotta fill up all my time with like, you know, like, in a way to make money. I just think about like, you know, I definitely want to take care of my family and
Yeah.
like I said, but music is always something that, I just, if I really think about it, I'm like, yeah, there's a pull. It just pulls me in, man. I can't seem to like get on without it. Even finding out that I'm going deaf, dude, that was kind of tough.
I bet.
They're like, dude, your right ear's really fucked. Like you can barely hear shit out of it. I'm like, yeah, I kind of knew that, but then I'm like, But I'm like, you know what? Public service announcement: wear earplugs if you go to shows. Wear earplugs. Not necessarily like the foam. We were talking about the foam ones that just dull everything. Not so great, but they make ones that like can just reduce the decibel level, but it's still clear and crispy.
The ones I use are called Sonic.
Wear earplugs.
The ones I use are called Sonic Defenders, and I found out you could buy them at Walmart.
Right on.
You go to the hunting section. They have
So it's
them
not
there.
like breaking the bank.
No, they're like $15, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people swear by the Sonic Defenders, which are like $60. I use them. They weren't for me.
Right.
But a lot of people swear by them. But there are good earplugs out there that are not those foam things that are going to. You're going to be able to hear.
You just
everything.
can't hear shit if you put the foam thing in here. It just sounds like nothing. It's like
you go out, you get like earplugs that are used for like hunting or whatever, like construction or whatever, and there are good earplugs out there for $15, man. You get these Sonic Defenders. They're at Walmart in the hunting section. You get them on Amazon, whatever, and you can hear everything, and you're not going to go. You're not going to go deaf, and it's
seriously.
I get the whole like, well, I'm going deaf anyway.
No.
So why do you want to go more deaf? Right?
You don't want this shit. I'm telling you right now, you don't want it. It's kind of a drag.
And I'm a guy who did 20 plus years of standing in front of speakers at concerts, playing in a band, and going to shows, and just I'm thankful I have my hearing, and I don't leave home without my earplugs. They are on my keys, man.
I don't anymore, but the damage is already done. But
yeah,
even that though, it's like even with that, I still can't stop rocking and rolling, man.
I don't leave the house without my. I have my earplugs on my keys, and I have my headphones on my keys.
Yep.
I don't leave home without either of those. Real quick before we go, I want to talk about Record Store Day. Is this Saturday? Revolver Records is opening at 8 o'clock. I'm not affiliated. I'm not sponsored. That's where I'm going to be. They open at 8 o'clock. You probably want to line up early, because the last time I showed up at like 7:45, I was down the block and didn't get any of the records I wanted. But I got my list right here of what I'm hoping to pick up. I know Revolver doesn't have a couple of these. They just put out the list today on their Facebook page of all the titles that they do have. So I'm going to hopefully get all the rest of these and then run over to the Black Dots and get the last two, which I don't think they're very popular ones, so I don't think I'm going to have to worry about overpaying for them if I don't get them. But definitely some cool stuff on there, depending on what you like. I know there's a Pearl Jam release coming up. I'm actually surprised there's not a Taylor Swift release. She was the ambassador for Record Store Day the last couple of years, and I bought her records the last couple of years. I bought a couple of years ago. She had a 45 that I bought for somebody else, and then I stopped talking to that person for a minute, and I'm just watching the price go up on this thing, and it was like worth like 10 times what I paid for it. By the time that me and that person started talking again, I'm like, yeah, I bought it for you. You can have it. And then I have another Taylor Swift record that's on the shelf behind me here that I have not even opened yet from last year's Record Store Day. That is worth like 10 times what I paid for that. And I'm still like, do I want to listen to it? Do I want to sell it? I don't know. Like, I'm still torn. Do I want to open it and listen to it? Do I want to sell it as brand new? But also, like, Dave Grohl has, they're calling it GBI. It's Dave Grohl, Charlie Benante, and Scott Ian. So Foo Fighters and Anthrax. And they did a Bad Brains cover. And they're releasing that for Record Store Day. I have in the shelves behind me somewhere Foo Fighters release from Record Store Day a few years ago. It is like the second most valuable record in my collection behind that Taylor Swift one. And it's them doing Bee Gees covers. Cool stuff.
It's got to be unique to be super valuable, right?
Cool stuff coming out for Record Store Day, and some of these on my list are like Record Store Day exclusives. So it's like, fuck, if I don't get them now, I don't know when I'm going to be able to get them. So
get out there and get your hands on.
So I'll be out sitting outside a Revolver at like 3 o'clock in the morning on Elmwood. So if you guys want to come hang out with me, keep me company, maybe keep me warm too, because it's probably going to be a little chilly at 3 o'clock in the morning. But that's Record Store Day for you.
Yeah, man.
So we didn't get around to you being able to play a song.
It's all good, man.
All good, but we're going to play a song by you. In your band, which, again, you're playing Saturday at 9 p.m., apparently, at Tudor Lounge.
Yeah, the Harrison Radiators will start at 9.
Okay.
Doors will be at 8, so come on down.
So I'm going to criticize your event page.
Yeah, we're, like I said earlier, we're pretty lacking on this side of things.
Usually when you make an event page, you make it for the time that the doors open, which I assume would be 8 o'clock for this.
Yeah.
All right. And
we'll update it.
And then you put your price in there, because no price on this.
Mike,
And
We love you anyway.
it's Tudor Lounge, so we can assume it's 21 plus, but usually your age is
It is 21
so
plus. It's 21 plus. It is $10.
$10. All right, there you go. It helps when the artist is here to clarify these things when they don't put it in their event page.
Like I said, we are lazy in that regard.
The thing about
let's be honest,
it is, I do this every week, so I see these things, and I'm just like, oh, they didn't put this, they didn't put that, they didn't do this, and I always make a point to say something about it too on the air. So you're here for me to say it to your face. So.
We'll straighten it right out.
But those are things that need to go in your event pages, guys. If you're in a band or you're a promoter or whatever, just and I can't say I've done flyers where I've forgotten to put the date on it. So,
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's perfect. But this is Reggie Childs, who are celebrating 10 years this Saturday at Tudor Lounge. And this song is called Company We Keep on All WNY, ThinkSoJoE Show. And we'll see you next week. Let me hit the button first, and then we'll hit the mute button. Here we go.
Been howling at the moon all night. My boys are feeling alright. We got Dan for amusement. With all the best intentions, we lost all our directions. I'm just drinking for amusement. I love the company we keep. I just think that you really need this crowd. My other buddies' bonds aren't deep. In water they dissolve and keep me down. I come from the burbs, that's right. We moved to the city light, just looking for amusement. We share the punk that we found. We like a Jamaican sound. We just grew for amusement. I love the company we keep. I just think that you really need this crowd. My other buddies' bonds aren't deep. In water they dissolve and keep me down.